So it is day 173 of 2023, but I'm going to be planting the day 171 and 172 because I am still catching up from a couple of weeks that I missed while I was away. So we're going to be starting with a slight reference to my sister suggesting that the elder tree I planted will be contributing to future elderflower and gooseberry cakes. So we're going to be going with an Indian gooseberry. This is also called Amla or Emblic. It's Phyllanthus emblica. It's a lovely tree. It's quite often used in sort of afforestation projects in the true tropics. We are within the tropics geographically, but in terms of our altitude we have a slightly more subtropical climate, so we don't really get the rain to form the forest. This is often used as a founder fall, but it is very environmentally tolerant here. It does seem to do perfectly well with no extra irrigation in shade, although I suspect it will grow better with a little bit of year-round irrigation. This one is going into the area where I planted the Carpentaria on Easter Sunday, which is one of the very shade-loving palms, which is suffering a little bit because it's not getting as much shade as it should like. And I didn't want to plant anything too dense while I'm contributing to more shade for it, but I did want something that would add a little bit of permanent sort of shade to that. And once they're mature, Phyllanthus emblica usually are sort of evergreen, so they're constantly dropping leaves, but they usually have leaves year-round as well, so they create a permanent light shade. It won't usually create such a dense shade that will crowd other things out, so it shouldn't really interfere with the avocado, which is also quite close by here and really doesn't like to be shaded once mature. They really don't fruit well usually when they are well shaded, so having something very, very light canopied should be much less problematic for that. We are going to be protecting it from a little bit of the sun by planting an aloe arborescens cane immediately due north of it, which should shelter out a lot of the midday sun now in the middle of the winter season when the sun is coming very much from the north. We're going to be putting a couple of pieces of reflexor around as well, which will also be tending to the northern side, west and east of this, which should also help shelter it while it's getting settled in. And by the time it's settled in and the sun has come further south and it will indeed move slightly to the south of us, the third companion plant I'm putting in, which is the Cathedral Bells Calico pinnata, should have filled out a lot and should be providing shade from that direction as well. For day 172, you may remember a while ago that I tried transplanting a self-seeded rose apple, which is one of the Syzygiums, and it really didn't take. I think I must have damaged the root because they do have quite a long tap root when they germinate straight in the ground, and I think I must have damaged that in the transplanting, and it just never settled down. And indeed, when I went around to do my watering this week, it was just dead. It was quite apparently dead, and I took it up. It came up very, very easily, and you can see the termites have been at the root, but it looks like they went at it after this had just turned to dirt dust and they were just cleaning up what was left. But I do think fundamentally this is a good spot for a rose apple. And when I went to get the ginkgo the other day, presumably because when you're planting a tree every day, all the local nurseries get to know you, but the owner of the nursery gave me a couple of free trees, which included a little rose apple. So this little one is going to be going in its place. It's not getting any new companion plants. I am going to use a fork to sort of open the soil up a little bit and then just create enough of a dip that I can get it in, get it under the soil level so water will pool around it rather than running away from it, so that it can really get settled in at this time of year, which is not an ideal time of year to be planting tropical fruit trees. But as you might be able to guess from the fact that I'm wearing a t-shirt, this winter hasn't been as chilly as I would usually expect. It has been cold on some nights, but there are definitely winters where I would not be wearing a t-shirt at night at all. So you can assume this is a warmer than usual winter, which is why I've been planting a few other fruit trees that I wouldn't usually plant at this time of year. Right, so that should be everything for today. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and if you didn't, thank you for watching anyway. I will be planting something else tomorrow, so please tune in for that. I will be planting two something else's probably to finally catch up with all the days that I missed while I was away. So tune in tomorrow and we can find out what that will be.